for 15 minutes, I will be answering your relationship questions. Put this banner up. And the comments are coming up. Here we are. Okay, we're going live everywhere else now too. Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Wendy Walsh. I'm known as America's relationship expert. I am a psychology professor. I have a PhD in clinical psychology. I've written 3 books on relationships because I'm really obsessed with the science of love. I like to do a live stream for about 15 minutes every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Pacific time so I can answer a few relationship questions. If you like what you hear and like what you see, come on over to my Patreon and join us at 6:30 begins our private exclusive Patreon Zoom room. And for that, you go over to patreon.com/Dr. Wendy Walsh. Okay. Any questions coming? Do I believe in getting married for the second time? Believe. It's funny how people always say believe. Like, do you believe in this? Do you believe in that? Look, human beings are mostly monogamous, but because of our very long life expectancies, the average human can expect to have 2 or 3 long stints of monogamy in their lifespan with some mate selection in between. Do I believe? Now, what we do know is that second marriages and third marriages have much higher divorce rates than first marriages. And I'll tell you why. Divorce doesn't teach you how to be a better mate. Divorce doesn't teach you how to find a better mate. Divorce teaches you that you can survive divorce. So as a result, if you haven't changed, if you haven't improved your relationship skills, you enter your second marriage and you're doing the same old thing again, and you married somebody who's kind of similar because your model for love was that, then you're going to more easily divorce. So do I believe in second marriages? Of course I do. But I do believe in acquiring the relationship skills you need to help make it successful. Hi, everybody. Come on over. I see everybody. Jonathan's on board too. If you have a relationship question, you are welcome to post it here and I will answer it. What do I think about polyamorous relationships? Well, I think what the science says and what the data says. And the data says that although maybe 10% of couples try to open their relationship, less than 5% can sustain it. You see, we evolved as human beings to have this very important mate guarding feeling called sexual jealousy, meaning that this idea of your mate being with somebody else, for most humans, I say most, the typical human, it's very hard for them to tolerate. So while there is this small percentage of people that can sustain a polyamorous relationship, I think that right now we are in what I call a high supply sexual economy, where we have an oversupply of successful women, at least in Western culture, in urban centers, an oversupply of successful women in the mating marketplace. And as a result, men are pressuring women to open their relationships because men prefer more partners than women do. That's just the typical man compared to the typical woman. So as a result, there are a lot of women who are thinking, you know, because they meet this guy that they think is so great and he's talking about conscious non-monogamy. At least if I'm truthful about it, then she can't get hurt, right? But it still hurts. And then they wonder what's wrong with them, like somehow they have attachment issues. I've actually had people write to me and say, do I have attachment issues because I can't open up my relationship? No, you're typical. You're typical. You're a normal person. So anyway, more questions. Let me move down here. I see one on YouTube. Taylor says, I was talking to a guy for a few months. This weekend, a mutual friend posted a group photo with him and another girl. The next day, he blocked me on everything. I'm so hurt. It sounds like, Taylor, he did you a really big favor, right? Because any guy who would want to have an open, honest, authentic relationship would have had a conversation with you about, before blocking, about who the other girl was or why they, you know, why they don't want to see you anymore. So he did a big favor. You don't want that guy around. Hi, West Covina, how are you? Let me ask one up here on TikTok. How should I stop being jealous of other girls? Do you mean jealous because your mate might be taken? You know, mate guarding is a natural phenomenon. But if it's a socially evaluative threat that you're worried that you're evaluating yourself against them and it's your own self-esteem issues, then the answer always is to go to a good therapist and raise your self-esteem. Why are you still single? You're 30. Well, because you haven't chosen the person who you're going to marry, I guess. If marriage is what you want, you got to go and choose the right person in the mating marketplace and play the game correctly. I was having this conversation this morning on one of my Patreon Zoom rooms, and I was talking about how at the very beginning of a relationship are when all the mistakes are made, because you're setting up a system. So how you behave on the apps, how you behave in the first phone call, how you behave on the first date, how you behave at the onset of first sex in a relationship, when and how and what consent and how long before you do it, all that sets the system for the relationship and the power dynamic. There's Kip in Garden Grove. Hello. Thank you, Mike, about my glasses. You like them. So Jonathan has an interesting question. What is your favorite part about love? What is my favorite part about love? Let me say this. When you have a secure attachment with somebody, you don't have the roller coaster. You don't have those highs and those lows and the butterflies in the stomach when you see them and you're so nervous when they go out and somebody might steal them. When you actually have trust, when you actually have loyalty, the best part about love is the feeling of peace, the feeling of knowing that you have a voice and can say whatever you want and will be loved and accepted for your ideas. And my other favorite part about love is just being seen authentically for myself, knowing that whether I have makeup on or not doesn't matter, whether I gain weight, lose weight doesn't matter, that the relationship I'm having is with the internal person. And I love that. Let's see, I'll get one more question. I'm going to have to head over to my Patreon Zoom room soon. Any more questions up there on TikTok? It's always nice to see everybody and know where you're watching from. Oh, you're married to an angel. That's so nice. You have to have trust and stability within yourself. Yes. The most important relationship that we will ever have is the relationship with ourselves. The relationship where we can fully accept ourselves with our flaws and also be proud of the things we do well. Be constantly trying to improve ourselves, but not beating ourselves up so much when we are human and make mistakes. People with good emotional intelligence are able to have insight, be aware of their own feelings, have language and words to express their feelings to others, and also be able to read other people and have empathy for what they're experiencing. Those are the three cornerstones of emotional intelligence, and that's what you need to have a healthy relationship with somebody. Is it possible to love two people at the same time? Of course it is. Can a mother love 5 different children? Yes, in different ways. It's absolutely possible. Now, culture places sometimes rules about being socially monogamous or socially as a couple. So you have to make a decision, right? So you're not hurting somebody. It's not good to lie to somebody. I will close with Jonathan's great question. Where can we reach out to you on your radio show? So here's what everyone should know. I have a radio show on KFI AM 640 Los Angeles, the most listened to talk radio station in the country. It is every Sunday from 4 to 7 p.m. Pacific time. Look that up if you're not on Pacific time. And usually during towards the end of the second hour, I take calls. And I also go to social media and answer your relationship questions. The number I give out on air, you can listen to the show anywhere just by downloading the iHeart Radio app. So go into your little app store there and you search for iHeart Radio, the letter I, Heart Radio. Once you have the app downloaded, you search Dr. Wendy Walsh or KFI. KFI is the name of KFI 640, KFI AM 640, or Dr. Wendy Walsh, and the show will come up. Now, if you're not able to listen live, you can listen to it anytime on the app. It's posted about an hour after the show. So if you miss past shows, they're always there. I talk about the science of love and attachments. I talk about mental health. you can listen to it anytime. Now, in the meantime, if you're on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, you can send me private messages that my producer goes into and finds them, prints them out. You can all week long post them, and then we look at them Sunday mornings, and I answer a lot of those on air as well. In addition, if you join my Patreon and come on to my Patreon Zoom rooms, you can send me private messages there for relationship advice anytime. And I answer 100% of those because you're my patron, right? And for that, you go to patreon.com/Dr. Wendy Walsh. So I'm going to head over there now. I'm there at 6:30 every Wednesday in my live exclusive Zoom room. I'm about to send the link out to everybody. So if you join quickly, you'll get the link and you can come on board. But I'm here every Wednesday at 6, on Patreon at 6:30. And during my radio show, I usually do a live on Instagram and TikTok. And that's from our iHeart radio studios here in Los Angeles. It's always a pleasure to meet you guys, to answer your questions. It is my honor, really, to weigh in on your love lives. So thanks for being here. We'll see you next time. Bye. Okay, first, and